teacher, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. What I have to say might surprise you. It might even shock you. I have a confession to make. I am Annette Levy, and I am a perfectionist. Yes, it's true. I'm one of those people. I fuss over the tiniest details that don't really matter. I have an inner critic renting space in my head. I used to be so afraid of making mistakes and disappointing somebody. And most of the time, that somebody would be me. Ladies and gentlemen, the speaker you see before you tonight is far from perfect, but I have a personal story that hopefully might inspire my fellow perfectionists, and maybe even a few budding artists. Being the daughter of two very smart, very loving parents, I too became a very smart, very loving person myself, if I do say so. One of my greatest joys was to make my parents proud of me. Anything I did, they would smile at me and say, "Great job, so wonderful, keep it up, you're doing wonderful." And I did. I loved it. I couldn't get enough of it. So I kept doing things to make my parents proud of me and other people. It would motivate me, even to imagine other people praising me or saying they were proud of me. It could do the best in anything I do. But, as with most things, there is a dark side to pleasing everybody, because you can't please all people all the time. I learned that the hard way. Around 15 or 16, I decided that I wanted to try drawing realistically. Up to that point, I had taken out countless books in the library on drawing birds, flowers, trees, cartoon characters, fantasy creatures. I would spend literally hours following the steps and filling pages upon pages of my work. And no matter who I showed it to, everybody would say without fail, "Great job, so beautiful, keep it up, keep practicing." And I loved it. I loved to draw. So the next logical step would be to start drawing from reality. So I got my sister to model for me. I studied my face in the mirror, and I flipped through pages of magazines seeing which pictures I would like to draw. But as some of you might know, drawing realistically is not so easy. I became more and more frustrated with my work, and I experimented less and less. The hardest thing for me to draw was the human face. Here's what I would say to myself after a particularly disappointing self-portrait. "Those eyes are too close together. That head is too small. The mouth is too big. What did you do with that nose? That doesn't even look human. Put it away. Don't show it to anybody. You're not good enough yet." That was when my inner critic was born. She had very high standards and was highly critical of anything I did. "You're not good enough," she would say to me, relentlessly, like a broken record. "You're not good enough." So, what is an inner critic for, anyway? Well, at best, it's to help you make minor necessary adjustments, much like a guided missile rocketing toward its target. At worst, it's like living with a bully for a roommate, beating you up, putting you down, keeping you in your place with fear. And the worst part is, unlike a real roommate, you can't very well kick her out. I tried that metaphorically many times. And even when I thought she was gone for good and I felt like drawing again, there she would be to remind me, "Remember how many flops you produced? Remember all that work that will never see the light of day? You're still not good enough." So I eventually thought to myself, well, maybe I'm not cut out to be an artist. That was until I found a drawing exercise that changed my life. The premise was simple. Simply turn your source material upside down and draw from that until you're finished, and turn it right side up, and voila, it looks just like the source material. It was a perfect way to shut up the inner critic inside while you're drawing until you're done. So as I started to put together this drawing exercise, I heard my inner critic flare up. What is that? A upside down horse, knight riding a horse? That looks ridiculous. It doesn't look like anything. Don't even try that. So I decided to stand up for myself, for one, and said, hey, this is my turn now. You're just a figment of my imagination. I don't need you anymore. Just zip it until I'm done, okay? So I turned it upside down, and since I couldn't understand the bigger picture, I just drew, focused on drawing what I saw. And it didn't look like anything just yet, but, oops.
It's all right, leave it. Keep
But
going.
But at the end, what I drew, it turned, to my delight, it looked really like the picture I drew, like the picture I saw in the source material. So I did this exercise countless times until I was finally comfortable enough to work from the right side up source, and I started to love drawing again because I was more comfortable about what I drew. All I had to do was just change my perspective. I'm still a perfectionist to this day, but now I don't let my inner critic beat me up so much anymore. If you take away anything from this story, remember this. You are good enough. You are the boss. You are in charge. And you can do anything if you set your mind to it. Man, Toastmasters.